Okay, picture this. A world where stealing a single lock of hair could literally start a war between two super powerful families. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Alexander Pope's amazing satirical poem, The Rape of the Lock. It's a story all about high society, high drama, and, well, basically a haircut. Let's get to it. Now, I know what you're thinking. A guy snips a lock of a lady's hair. What's the big deal, right? But you have to understand, in the world of 18th century high society, this was a massive insult. I mean, the kind of thing that could tear entire families apart. And that's the genius of what Pope does here. He takes this tiny, tiny incident and just blows it up to epic proportions. He turns a little high society fight into a war that feels like it's worthy of the gods themselves. And here's the kicker. This wasn't just some made-up story. Nope. This was based on a real event. For real, there was this lord, a bit of a fop, who actually snipped a lock of hair from a gorgeous young socialite named Arabella Fermor. And that one little snip, it threw their two families into this huge, bitter feud. So Pope, their friend, writes this poem, hoping, to get them to see how ridiculous it all was. Have a laugh, and maybe, just maybe, make up. So to pull this off, he used this absolutely brilliant literary device called the mock epic. And the whole idea is actually pretty simple. You take the super grand, serious style of a classic epic poem. We're talking gods, heroes, massive battles, think the Iliad or the Odyssey, and you apply all of that drama to something completely and totally ridiculous. The humor, it comes from that massive, hilarious gap between the epic style and the silly, silly subject. And this really breaks it down perfectly. I mean, look at this. In a real epic, you've got these powerful gods and goddesses pulling the strings. But in Pope's mock epic, we get tiny little airy spirits called sylphs and gnomes, whose main job is to watch over high society ladies. And instead of the legendary Trojan War, the big fight is over a single curl of hair. So what are the stakes? Well, it's not the fate of a nation. Oh no, it's something way, way more important in their world, your social status. All right, so let's meet our heroine, Belinda. She is gorgeous, she's rich, and she is the absolute center of her social universe. And as she gets ready for the day's big battle, she's not just being helped by her maid, no. She has this whole invisible army of supernatural beings who are treating her vanity table like it's a sacred altar. So the story kicks off with Belinda still sound asleep. Her main guardian, a little self-named Ariel, gets this bad feeling, a premonition that some awful disaster is about to happen. He doesn't know exactly what, but he knows it's all about her. So what does he do? He tries to send her a warning in a dream. And the warning is, beware of man. That's it. That is the entire warning. Super dramatic, super ominous, and completely useless. Of course, Belinda wakes up and pretty much instantly forgets the whole thing, as she starts the super important ritual of getting ready. So Belinda hops on a boat and sails down the river to Hampton Court Palace. And of course, she is an absolute vision, dazzling everybody she passes. But one admirer in particular, a young baron, becomes completely obsessed with her two beautiful, perfect locks of hair. He's so obsessed, in fact, that he literally built an altar to the god of love that very morning, and he made a vow to get one of those locks, no matter what it took. When she gets to the palace, Belinda sits down for a friendly game of cards. But remember, this is Pope's world, so it's not just a game of cards. Oh no, it's a heroic battle fought on the velvet plane of the card table. Every single move is described with the seriousness of a military maneuver. And it's a close one. The Baron almost wins. But then, at the very last second, Belinda pulls out the win and she celebrates like she just conquered an entire country. So, after her glorious victory, it's coffee time. And it's the steam rising from the coffee that suddenly jogs the Baron's memory of his evil plan. The moment of truth is here, and a simple pair of scissors is about to become a weapon of social destruction. And this is where that mock heroic style just shines. The Baron's plan is laid out like a general's battle strategy. Step 1, pray to his god. Step 2, wait for the perfect opening. Step 3, get armed for battle. Another lady, Clarissa, actually hands him the scissors, like she's a squire giving a knight his sword before a tournament. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, her guardian Ariel is in an absolute panic. He gets his whole army of sylphs together, but it's his list of potential disasters that's just pure gold. He's worried she might stain her new dress, or lose a necklace, or that her lapdog might die. And he puts all of these on the exact same level of importance as, losing her actual virtue. It's just a perfect cutting commentary on the totally skewed priorities of this society. So, the stage is set. The Baron moves in, scissors at the ready. Ariel and his little army of sylphs swarm all over that precious lock of hair. They're trying desperately to pull it out of the way. They're tugging on her earring to get her to turn her head. But can they do it? Can these tiny little spirits actually stop him in time? And here's the twist. Just as the Baron is about to make his move, Ariel takes a peek inside Belinda's mind, and he finds something shocking, a secret. She actually has a crush on some guy, an earthly lover. Now for Ariel, whose whole job is to protect her purity, this is a deal breaker. This hidden crush means she's not 100% pure anymore. And so, feeling like his job is pointless, he just gives up. He abandons his post. And with her guardian angel gone, the defense just crumbles. The scissors close. Snip. It's done. The lock is stolen. Belinda lets out this horrific scream that just rings through the entire palace. And the Baron? He's cheering, celebrating his great wicked triumph. So just when you think things can't possibly get any more dramatic, they do. A grumpy little gnome named Umbriel decides his job is to make everything worse. Pour gasoline on the fire. So he travels down to the Cave of Spleen, which back in the 18th century people thought was the literal source of all bad tempers and moodiness. It's basically the underworld of depression and drama. So he goes to the Queen of Spleen and asks for her help, and boy does she deliver. She gives him the ultimate weapons of melodrama. He comes back with a bag that is literally bursting with the force of female lungs, sighs, sobs, passions, and a little bottle full of fainting fears, soft sorrows, and weaponized tears. He is ready to unleash an absolute emotional hurricane. Okay, so back at the party, things are now in total chaos. Belinda's friend, the Lestress, tries to get her boyfriend to go confront the Baron. But the Baron, he is not backing down. He gives this ridiculously over-the-top heroic speech declaring he will never, ever give up the lock while his nostrils still breathe air. I mean, come on. And that's Umbriel's cue. He opens up that vial of tears right over Belinda, and she just launches into this long, tragic speech about her horrible loss. The entire party is in an absolute uproar, which sets the stage for the poem's huge, messy, grand finale. Now at this point, Clarissa, and remember, she's the one who gave the Baron the scissors in the first place, she tries to be the voice of reason. She stands up and gives this really great speech, arguing that, hey, a woman's sense of humor and good character are way more important than her looks, which are just going to fade anyway. It's this one single moment of actual wisdom in the whole poem, and everybody completely, totally ignores her. Yeah, instead of listening to reason, Belinda basically calls her friends to arms. This big, chaotic mock battle breaks out. People aren't fighting with swords and shields, they're fighting with killer frowns and snapping their fans. And Belinda's ultimate weapon? She takes a pinch of snuff and throws it right in the Baron's face, which sends him into a massive sneezing fit. Then she threatens him with her deadliest weapon of all, a decorative hairpin. She wins. So she demands the Baron return her hair. And he finally gives in. But in all the chaos of the fight, the one thing this whole epic war was about, it's gone. The lock of hair has completely vanished. But don't worry, the narrator, Pope himself, has an explanation for us. The lock wasn't just lost. Oh no, it rose up into the sky and became a brand new star, a new constellation. It's immortal now, a shining monument to Belinda's amazing beauty for everyone to see forever. It is the perfect, hilarious final touch on this completely absurd story. And that's really what makes this poem so great, even today. Pope absolutely nailed our tendency as humans to take something tiny and blow it up into a huge world-ending drama. Which really leaves us with one last question to think about, right? What are our modern-day rapes of the lock? What are the little arguments or social media fights that we treat like epic battles? The setting might have changed from a palace to a social media platform, but that human drama, it's exactly the same. Thanks for joining this explainer.